budget, and I didn't want to take any financial risks. Instead, I settled for a couple of changing room selfies.
Where's my phone? I have the screenshot. I have to screenshot this.
Big Phil!
No, I don't think you understand. I have to, I have the screenshot. Guys, we're back with another Nightmares with Nyeem, part 2. Well, episode 2. I don't know, man. How many episodes we're gonna have on this? But yeah, guys, we're back on some Nyeem. Yeah, guys, but we're back on that Nyeem.
Try!
Yeah, guys, we're back on Nightmares with Nyeem. Today we're gonna react to a lot of live action type of horror flicks. We're not gonna react to nothing animated horror stuff. We're gonna do that next episode, mix it up a little bit. But each episode I want to at least change the type of genre of horror we're reacting to. So yeah, this episode, live action short films, simple as that. So let's get to it. Yeah. Alright, guys, so first video is Home Invasion. This is a little short film I seen on YouTube, and yeah, man, let me leave some videos in the comment section below that I can react to. I'm gonna react to it on video, so yeah, just go ahead and do that, and I got you. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Oh shoot, man. I swear, man, this better not be scary. God, too loud. Dark Echoes. Video link in the description, by the way. I don't really copyright.
This story was submitted by Catherine Anderson.
Dude.
A few years ago, my grandparents passed away, and in their will, they left me their old house. It was a two-story, three-bedroom fixer-upper. It had been sitting empty for a while, and it needed a lot of love and attention.
Dude.
But eventually,
like
I got things in pretty good shape. This was back when Airbnb was first becoming mainstream, and I figured I would give it a try. The house was perfect for it. It had 2 spare bedrooms and a luxurious jacuzzi tub in the guest bathroom. To my surprise, it did really well. The house was perfect for it.
Sorry about that.
It had 2 spare bedrooms and a luxurious jacuzzi tub in the guest bathroom. To my surprise, it did really well. I booked one of the rooms almost every night, and on the weekends, I'd often have both rooms booked. I went out of my way to make sure every guest felt special. I'd make breakfast, give them directions, anything I could do to ensure they had a great stay. And I was pretty good at playing host, for the most part.
What type of stuff is this?
I got a bunch of great reviews on the site, kept an accurate booking calendar, and was eventually recognized with the title of Superhost. It's a silly, meaningless title, but I was proud of it. My mom, however, was always worried. At her insistence, I installed a commercial-grade, double-cylinder deadbolt on my bedroom door. This version required a key for locking and unlocking from either side of the door. Plus, I assured her that through the website, I was able to look at every profile before I accepted any renters to see who might be a good fit and weed out any potential creeps.
Do like a creeper.
The system worked well. At least, it did until tonight. I found myself with the rare occasion of 0 bookings. I decided I could use the night off to relax and focus on a little self-care.
It's my 3rd time being interrupted. I keep getting interrupted. Every time I just want to record, I get interrupted. Over and over and over. You know what this means.
Celebrated my free evening in the best way possible. A bottle of wine, Netflix on demand, and an evening-long soak in that full-size jacuzzi tub in the guest bathroom. I was already 2 glasses of Pinot deep when I heard it.
Back on.
The unmistakable sound of my front door opening.
Oh shoot! And you inside the
Put
tub,
down my phone
booty cheek
and
naked. Let me see.
I could hear someone creeping up the stairs.
Oh, that man wearing
and
New York
whoever it
Tim
was
wearing the
weighed a
butters.
hell of a lot more than I did.
Yeah, he wearing the butters.
I blew out the candles surrounding the bathtub and waited in the dark. My heart was pounding so loudly I thought it might explode inside my chest. The person reached the top of the stairs, shuffled past the bathroom, and continued down the hall. They seemed to slow at each of the guest rooms before moving closer to my bedroom, which I had left unlocked since I was home alone. Scared to make a sound, I reached for my phone and texted 911.
How you text
It
911?
only
You text
took a few seconds before my phone vibrated with a text message. It was the phone company telling me 911 messaging wasn't available and to make a voice call instead. I could hear the footsteps leave my bedroom and start down the hall towards the guest bathroom. I quickly drafted an email to myself in hopes of creating a distraction and hit send. I heard my laptop faintly chirp down the hall. The footsteps stopped and headed back towards my bedroom. I immediately called 911 and relayed my situation. Dispatch told me officers were 5 minutes away and to stay on the line until they arrived. 5 minutes. I couldn't wait that long. I had to do something.
Yeah,
I stood up and the dripping water seemed to echo throughout the room. Every drop seemed loud enough to give away my presence. I had one more chance to create a distraction. I grabbed my phone and reconnected to the Bluetooth speaker. I hit play on the music app and heard music from the kitchen downstairs. I then heard the man race down the hall, hesitate, and then clomp down the stairs.
You got the gloves.
I wrapped myself up in a towel, tucked my phone into the fold, and got out of the tub. I crept out of the bathroom and moved quickly down the hall. I knew that once I was in my room, I could lock myself in
the bathroom.
Police. Only one problem.
You have clothes in the bathroom.
I didn't have the key. It was in my jacket, which was hanging on the railing of the stairs. I crept back down the hall, tiptoeing as quietly as I could on the squeaky wood floor. And then the music stopped. I froze. A moment later, I heard him coming back up the stairs, and I rushed into a nearby closet and hid. My heart sank as I listened to him looking for me. He walked over to the bathroom and stopped at the door. I imagined he saw the fogged-up mirror and the wet footprints on the tile. He then continued down the hall toward my bedroom. I was crouched in fear, praying the police would arrive before he found me. I heard him enter my bedroom, pause and look around, and then move slowly toward the
He's trying to kill her! Hide behind some of those clothes in there, bro! Hide behind some of those clothes!
I knew that was my chance. I leapt out of the guest room closet and raced for the key. I grabbed it from my jacket and ran back toward my bedroom. When I reached the door and saw his face for the first time, I realized I knew him. He was a recent guest who had stayed with his wife. There was a tense moment where we both stared at each other, and then he rushed in my direction. I slammed the door closed, locked him inside, and ran for my life.
Get out of there.
The police showed up 20 minutes later and arrested the guy.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, he was sitting on my bed, calmly awaiting his fate. It turns out he had made a duplicate copy of the house key while he was out shopping with his wife. Since then, he had been checking the Airbnb website to find a night when I had no bookings and I was likely to be home alone.
Well, why would he want you?
I still rent out my rooms using the Airbnb site. I did, however, make some security upgrades, including keypad locks that reset with every guest. but I shudder to imagine how things would have gone if I didn't have that double-cylinder deadbolt.
Yo, cheeks will be gone. Directed by Jason Murphy. Man, good stuff,
Welcome back to our dark little corner of the interwebs. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I personally think the team knocked it out of the park. And if you pause it at 2 minutes and 38 seconds in, you'll see some of the films the directors worked on. Go ahead and check them out. And I wonder, how often do Airbnb hosts run into creepers like this? And I also wonder, how often is it the Airbnb host that is the creeper? Let me know your thoughts. And remember,
this man,
you're never alone, even when you're in the bathtub and you think you are.
Okay, you don't gotta scare me like that, bro. Cause I'm home alone right now, and you don't gotta scare me. Man. Well, that was the first story. Hold on, my camera down. Man, that story, bro. What was that one, bro? That man was a freaking home intruder. Oh my lord, that was just creepy and scary at the same time, dude. I can't even comprehend. Like, I really feel bad people who has to go through that every day, probably in different places of the world. It's honestly sad and crazy at the same time. But wow. But without further ado, man, let's get to the second live action horror story. Let's go play it. Alright, man. The last video for today. The county stalker. This is some type of stalking thing. Some girl, something. I don't even know, man. But yeah, man. Let's get into today's. Let's get into this, man.
A few years ago, I had a terrifying experience that still haunts me to this very day.
I'm sorry. No, what got over me?
My name is Diana, and in 2018, I rented a creepy old house in the middle of nowhere. The house was run down, the dryer was broken, and it had a leak in the master bedroom.
Why would you?
But it was affordable. And most importantly, it was 2 states away of the ex-fiancé I was desperate to get away from. I was 23 at the time. I'd called off my engagement a few months earlier, and my ex didn't take it well. He had a history of violence and made physical threats that left me terrified. After weeks of paranoia, I cut my losses and rebooted my life. I took what I could squeeze into my SUV and moved to a new town, in a new state, for a new start.
You don't got no parents to live with?
I was out furniture shopping for the rental house when I noticed a mom and pop vintage store and decided to take a look. It was the exact type of store I love. Quirky staff, a fun atmosphere, and a rack after rack of old Hollywood glamour. I spent an hour looking through their selections, then found a vintage lingerie set that I thought would perfectly
I don't know if I can show this. I don't know if I can. Hold on, let me see my camera there.
Complement my figure.
I don't know if I can show this, guys.
It looked amazing on me. I desperately wanted to splurge and buy it, but I was on a tight budget, and I didn't want to take any financial risks. Instead, I settled for a couple of changing room selfies.
Where's my phone? I have the screenshot. I have the screenshot, bitch.
Big fella!
No, I don't think you understand. I have the screenshot!
Ain't no way, boy. Boy, 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 ain't no way, boy.
I'm playing. I'm not saying. I'm just playing. I'm crying, bro. I'm just playing. Let me stop.
And a promise to treat myself as soon as I found a job.
Yeah, girl, treat yourself.
On my way out, I gave the sales girl my new address so she could add me to their monthly newsletter and keep me updated on any promotions. I then spent the next few hours grocery shopping and looking for furniture. When I got home, I started unloading the groceries, and noticed that one of my shirts was on the floor next to the back door.
Oh, shoot.
I figured it had fallen out of the basket when I took my laundry to the clothesline, so I scooped it up and went outside. When I was surprised to discover that my clothes were scattered all over the backyard. I assumed there must have been a windstorm while I was gone, but as I started gathering up my laundry, I noticed there was still something pinned to the clothesline. As I stared, I realized exactly what it was. It was the lingerie from the vintage shop. And upon seeing it, I was racked with a sickening unease. Peace of mind is one of those things most of us take for granted. We feel safe and in control, until that moment when we realize just how tenuous it all is. I rushed inside and immediately locked all the doors. I called my dad and got his voicemail. I then called my mum and explained that my ex must have figured out where I lived and was terrorizing me.
Dude, why don't you go live with your parents?
My mum told me to hang up and call the cops
I know
immediately.
you want an adult and everything, but...
and they came out and I explained what happened.
What you gotta do to survive?
They didn't find any signs of forced entry, but did discover 2 of my windows were unlocked. After chastising me about it, they asked if anything was missing, and I told them I didn't think so, that I was pretty sure my ex hadn't come inside, and I explained my situation and his vague threats.
Home Alone, guys. Come on.
They took down some information and offered to have a patrol car drive by a couple of times that night to keep an eye on the place. After they left, my mum called me back. She'd made a few calls since we'd last talked and had some unsettling news. It was confirmed that my ex had been at work that day, so there was no possible way he could have been at my house. It had to have been someone else. I was honestly in disbelief. I was so sure it had been my ex that I hadn't conceived of any other possibility. Why would a stranger go to such lengths to scare me? What would they have to gain from that? My anger at my ex was immediately replaced with a deep, visceral dread. My mother encouraged me to go buy a handgun for self-protection. She PayPal'd me the money and called it an early Christmas present.
Yeah, get them old
So I drove
British
out to a nearby gun
guns,
shop and looked over the selection.
You know, UK,
My father taught me to shoot when I was younger, but when it came to actually choosing a gun, I had no idea which to pick. The clerk came over, and I explained my situation.
GTA Los Santos.
After hearing me out, he advised I go with a shotgun instead, and showed me a pump-action model, enthusiastically stating that the mere sound of chambering a round was the best stalker deterrent money could buy. While I was out, I decided to buy a video security system as well. I picked up a Wi-Fi system with 4 cameras, battery backup, and enough alert sensors for all the doors and windows. I spent the next few hours setting up the system, deliberately putting the camera units in clear view of the windows as a warning to any would-be creepers.
Yeah, man.
Once everything was
shut up, dog back here. Shut up.
I fired up the feed on my laptop and shared the access password with my mother. What little peace of mind the security system restored wasn't enough to let my thoughts wind down so I could sleep. I laid on a foam mattress, rolled out on the floor, replaying the events at the vintage boutique. There were other people shopping there, and at least one other employee. Any of them could have overheard me giving my address, but no one stood out as suspicious. A little after 11 p.m, my father called me after getting off of work. I gave him a quick recap of what happened, and he grew gravely quiet. He asked me if I had secured the house after coming home. I told him the cops checked the windows and doors, but not the interior. I was operating under the assumption that the intruder had never entered the house. He asked about the shirt that I found on the floor, and I told him I thought I had dropped it when carrying my laundry outside. He told me to get the shotgun, that it was better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, get the shoddy body.
I picked up the gun and loaded some shells, just as the clerk had shown me, and my dad instructed me to go room to room, carefully clearing the house. He'd stay on the phone and have me talk my way through it all. I started with the bedroom closet.
Hold it. Hold
I
it
pushed open the door and looked inside.
You're ready to go boom!
I then moved into the empty living room. My
Simple.
heart was racing as I looked around.
Hold on, is my camera dead? Hold on.
Nothing but a bunch of half unpacked
check.
cardboard boxes. I then moved towards the master bedroom. I broke into a cold sweat as I neared, imagining what might await me on the other side. But again, the room was clear. I then checked the bedroom closet.
Way different.
Next was the closed door to the master bathroom. I opened the door and threw on the light. I was relieved to see it was empty.
Bathroom clear.
Then I moved over to the closed shower curtain and pushed it open with the barrel of the shotgun.
Shower clear.
Better be careful.
I then went
Someone
over
grab
to
that
the
barrel,
under-sink
they got
cabinet,
all control.
pulled it open,
Who
and
hide
that's
in
when
there?
I heard it. The undeniable sounds of someone in the adjacent room. My father told me to yell out a warning and to keep the business end of the gun pointed towards the door
Yelling
at
no
chest
warning.
level.
Better go
I did
sneak
as I
in
was
there
told
give 'em-
and then
as soon
racked
as
the
you holler,
shell.
see a gun pointed to your head.
Within seconds,
scary.
I heard scampering, and then the
Don't
back
even
door
yell out.
opened and slammed closed.
See?
The police showed up 10 minutes later and searched inside and out. No intruder. No signs of an intruder. Nothing missing. Nothing broken. I went to my laptop and watched the footage. The playback showed me going room to room until it lost sight of me entering the bathroom. And then I watched in horror as the kitchen closet opened and out crept a man.
What a freak is that?
The cameras showed him creep towards the bathroom door until he heard the racking of the shotgun. Then he rushed into the kitchen and out the back door.
Dude, he
My
just
father
moved.
flew in on a morning flight and helped me repack my things and drove me back home.
Yeah.
That experience, the loss of my peace of mind, it forever changed something inside of me. It's been 3
Who the
years.
freak calling me?
Sleep issues.
Alright, man. Let's hurry and get this right.
Even with a heavy-duty deadbolt. Even with a home security system. Even with the shotgun always on my nightstand.
Jesus Christ.
I don't anticipate that I will ever feel safe again.
Yikes, that's sad, man. Man, I tell you. Well, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode of Nightmares with Nyeem, you already know what to do. Leave a like and subscribe. Please, it will help me out a lot. The goal for this year, well, the main goal for the actual channel is 10,000 subs, and we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it soon. But yeah, guys, without further ado, see you guys next week on Nightmares with Nyeem.
Your butt
Alright,
cheeks.
whoa.
I'm gonna get your butt cheeks, Nyeem.
What's that?
I'm your friend. Come here. I'm in your room. Come here.